Hi and welcome to Standout Teaching, and this is a video which is a walkthrough of the LPC tool, which is the Lesson Plan Creator tool. And this tool is set up to help you design your lessons, put them together and then create a lesson plan as a result of what you've planned. So when you go onto Standout Teaching website, what you actually do is you go to the LPC tool link, which takes you to this page. And on your first page, you're faced with a choice of how many minutes, you've actually got available to teach with. Now, what's important here is this is not the total length of the actual lesson. So, for example, if your timetable is a 60-minute lesson, it's not the 60 minutes for the lesson that's available. It's how much time you've actually got to teach. So you need to take into account here the coming in time, the packing up time. So let's say by the time they come in, I've lost 5 minutes. By the time they've packed up and left, I've lost another 5 minutes. Potentially, I've got around about 50 minutes teaching time. So using the scroll buttons, I can navigate up and down to decide how much teaching time I've actually got. When you're happy with that, you click Plan Your Lesson, and then that takes you to the planning tool. What you'll have over here, is how much time you've got remaining when you start to use the tool. And then over here, you've got your activity selection buttons. So you can see we've got activity 1 here. I've got a choice of 4 different activities. So I'm going to go for my starter activity. And in this case, I'm going to go for an individual activity. So what I've got now is I've got to put in how long that activity is going to be. And if I want to, I can choose a resource from the Standout Teaching website, which is what I'm going to do. So I go into there and I can scroll up and down. And in this case, I'm going to go for picture label, which is gapped, hence differentiated. And once I've got that, it gives me a description of the activity itself. If I'm happy with that, I can add that to my plan. And you can see that description has now appeared within this window. So once I've done that, I'm then going to scroll up and down and I'm going to say how long that activity is going to be. And if you notice over here, my initial 50 minutes has now gone down to 45 minutes, so I can track how long I've got. Now the next thing is to help you a little bit is some guidance. These bars here, these colour bars, and these are just little traffic lights, give you an indication, of how long you're spending on that activity and whether you should consider to shorten or lengthen that activity. So you can see here it's gone to amber. It's given me a little instruction here saying, be a little bit careful, spend too long on that and you might disrupt the pace of the lesson. There's nothing wrong with having amber activities, because at the end of the day this is just guidance and use your own professional opinion as to what you think is actually going to work. I'm just going to knock this down, return it to green and have a nice quick starter activity. I click next and you can see there's my activity 1. It's 5 minutes long, it's a starter activity and it's individual student activity. I can navigate back to that if I wish to and change it. It's up to you what you actually want to do. So next stage I'm going to go for an activity and I'm going to do another individual activity. And I'm going to select another resource. And this time what will come up is the individual student activities, which will be slightly different to the starter ones. So I'm going to go for I'm the teacher. Yet again, I'm going to differentiate it. And as before, it gives me an explanation of the activity. So I'm going to add that to my plan. So we go through and we repeat that process yet again. Depending on the activity, it will tell you whether you're spending too long or not. Yet again, that is guidance. I'm going to knock that down. And just to point out something here, I'm going to do I'm the teacher, which is where they rotate around the room doing different tasks. Now, I want to spend 20 minutes on that, but halfway through the activity, I'm just going to stop it and have a little reflection exercise as to how well their learning is actually going. So I've done 10 minutes worth of the activity here. Going to go next and I'm going to do a little paired assessment so that they can check the progress that they're making. In which case I'm going to do green pen and I'm going to go for comment spaghetti. I'm going to make this 5 minutes. Go to next and then in this case I'm going to return to my individual activity and I'm going to go back to I'm the teacher gap, and they're going to continue with that. Yeah, again, that's another 10 minutes. How you structure your lesson is entirely up to you. This is just one that I've used before, and it's really quite successful. So once I've done that, they've learned a whole bank of knowledge here. They've checked their progress as they're going along. My next activity is going to be a AFL activity, I think, and I'm going to have a look at paired assessment. I'm going to go to select resource, and I think what I might go for, maybe a minute to win it, and I'll add that to the plan. So I can now add in how long that activity is going to be. And you can see I'm down to my last 10 minutes here, and I think that I'm going to finish off by doing a plenary activity. And in this case, I'm yet going to focus it on the students, select what I want to do, and I think I'm going to yet again differentiate it, and I'm going to go for the controversial issue. Add to plan. I'm going to spend my final 10 minutes on this plenary activity. And in this case, it's gone to amber. I'm happy with that because I wanted to spend a little bit of time discussing what they've actually learnt during the lesson. So once you've used up all your time, by the way, if you exceed the time, it will tell you. Then you've got two buttons down here. You've got check my lesson plan, okay, and export my lesson plan. If I go to check my lesson plan, what it'll actually do is give you an indication of the quality of the lesson you're potentially going to deliver. In this case, I've got it on the button, outstanding, potential grade, but bear in mind, it's all down to your delivery at the end of the day. You can go back and amend your plan, change things, it's up to you. But when you're ready and you're happy with the plan that you've put together, you can then export it. Now, when you export it, as you can see here, it's going to export it as a Word document. So I click download. And what you'll find down here, depending on the setup on your computer, is it will download that file as a Word document for you to then use and manipulate as you wish. So just wait for this to open. Enable editing. And there you can see, there's my plan. You'll need to add your sky-high questions, okay, and your learning outcomes. But the rest of it is pre-populated with the information that we saw on the lesson plan creator earlier on. And just to show you as well, you've got hyperlinks to the resources that you actually selected. So if you just wait a second, that'll come through. And there's that particular resource, and I can launch that resource and use it when I'm ready. So I'm just going to shut that down and return to the lesson plan creator. Now you'll notice it's still there, I can still export it, I can still check it, and at this stage I can still go through, okay, and change the activities should I wish to. It's entirely up to you. One important thing though is this: if you navigate away from this web page, all this information that you've put in will then be deleted, so you'll no longer be able to return to it. So bear that in mind. Make sure you're perfectly happy with what you've got before you do that. And so that is the lesson plan creator tool from Standout Teaching. Hopefully it will save you time, it will give you ideas, and hopefully it will help you deliver those outstanding lessons that our students deserve. Okay, thank you for your time, thank you for listening.